Hey everybody, it's your girl, Dr. Rhonda M. Lawson, owner of Meet the World Image Solutions, a publicity and literary services company based in the DMV. As a publicist, publisher, and a 24-time published author, I know very well what it means to protect your intellectual property. Because if you don't copyright your work, you leave money on the table and you allow somebody else to cash in on your hard work. Copywriting your work costs as little as $45, but it gives you the power to claim up to $150,000 per violation in court. And without this registration, you remain vulnerable and your fight for justice becomes much harder. But what happens once that copyright runs out? This is why I support the creators' rights movement. It's a collective voice rising in defense of artists, authors, musicians, filmmakers, and all types of creatives. Because right now, outdated copyright laws mean that after a set number of years, your life's work can be stripped away and handed over to corporations, while your family, the people that you were trying to build a legacy for, receive nothing. Think about it. Families can inherit homes. They can inherit land. They can inherit money. So why shouldn't they inherit the creative property that holds equal, if not greater value? Copyright isn't just an economic issue. It's a matter of fairness and moral justice. The creative rights movement is fighting to change these outdated copyright laws by extending copyright indefinitely, which means that your legacy, our legacies, are preserved not just for today, but for generations to come. So don't wait until it's too late. Protect your work now. Protect your name and protect your legacy. And join us in this fight to make sure that creators' rights are respected, protected, and passed on.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your girl, Dr. Rhonda M. Lawson, and you heard it correctly. I am backing the creators' rights movement. I take copyright laws very seriously. You know, I take the written word seriously. And part of respecting the written word is protecting your work. So you saw the video, you saw the Hit 'em Where It Hurts video, and I want you to sign the petition. So if you want more information on the creators' rights movement, just go to www.creatorsrightsmovement.com. You can get more information about what we're fighting for, and you can get information on signing a petition. So what we want to do is just make sure that the things that we're working for, I know many of us are writing books so we can build a legacy. Many of us are writing a book so we can carry on something for our children or create or what am I trying to say? So we're trying to create something for our kids. We want to pass on something to our kids. We want something that our kids can capitalize on. But if we don't update these outdated copyright laws, it is going to be very difficult to do that because somebody else can just swoop in, especially if you guys are just killing it out there. Somebody else can just swoop in and just take advantage and benefit from your hard work. And I don't want to see that happen to you. So make sure you go to the creatorsrightsmovement.com and find out more information and sign that petition so we can update these outdated copyright laws. Now, without any further ado, I have two very special guests tonight. As you know, we are dedicating the entire month of November to promoting the authors who are going to be a part of the Literacy Code book tour. So my first guest, Miss Ursula Odom, is one of those wonderful authors, and I'm so happy to have her on the show. Hi, Ursula. How are you doing tonight?
I'm fine. How are you, Dr. Rhonda?
Oh, my goodness. Busy.
Well, that's a good thing.
It is a good thing. It really is. But what's a great thing is having you on the show tonight. I appreciate you taking the time to talk with me tonight and to also talk about your work and what you're going to be doing with the literacy code.
Okay, well, thank you. So where would you like me to start?
Start with you just telling me, who is Ursula Odom?
Ooh, okay. So that story begins with a little girl who crawled under her grandmother's bed, pulled out a have a Tampa cigar box, and it was filled with letters and photographs and a lock of her sister's hair. And from that time until now, I've been fascinated with old photographs and the stories behind those photographs and all things that goes along with that. So fast forward throughout the years, I've been associated with computer programming, sales, art, and it seemed like I was somewhat of a jack of all trades. But then I realized that all of those things came together for the benefit of my collecting history and then sharing that history, collecting family memories and helping people understand the importance of those family memories to their
Yes.
families and to our communities and to this nation. That your family history is our Black history, our
Right.
community history, our world history. That's what history is. It's the story of one person that made a difference or was in the right place or wrong place at the right time, if that makes any sense. Yeah.
But, it is so important that we know our history. And I really feel like we're starting to see the effects of not listening when we were kids, because now the elders are starting to die out and they were trying to share those stories about our history. And we weren't always listening. We weren't
Right.
always sitting at their feet. And now that we're older and we understand the importance of it, we wish we had that time back.
hmm I often hear people say when they realize that I captured a lot of my family history, oh, I wish I had done that. Well, there's nothing we can do about what we didn't do, but you can always start with where you are because people will be saying that about you if you don't share. Oh, I wish I'd talked to her. Well, sit down, either write it, record it, or share it. But
Yes.
somehow let people know those things that are important to you that maybe only you know, the brilliance of you.
Yes.
You may have done this wonderful thing that nobody knows about it because our culture says we shouldn't brag. Well, yeah, we should. We should.
Absolutely, we should. I think, yeah, we've gotten to the point where when we do want to talk about something amazing that happened in our family or something amazing that happened to us, people see it as bragging. And so it almost shames the person into not saying anything.
Right. Exactly. And then we find out when the person passed away and we can't talk to them about it. Oh my goodness, I didn't know he or she did this. Well,
Yes,
you didn't
yes,
ask. Yeah. So to
absolutely.
that end, I'm an author, a publisher, and I have a bookstore, Ursula's History Shop, which is really somewhat eclectic. I have things that look like a museum, things that look like a bookstore, and it's a presentation space, it's a meeting space. It's where we talk about things that maybe we forgot that we even remembered. I mean, when we remembered it, we forgot that we even knew it. And making those connections between yesterday and today. Now, the story I like to tell sometimes is that I was in a restaurant and this mother took a straw and she took her finger and she put over the top of it like this. Well, she put it down in the liquid, put her finger on it, and then she pulled it out and dropped the liquid in her child's mouth because she didn't have a bottle. And I looked at that and I said, oh my God, that's the way a pump works. So sometimes you're looking at something that can give you a window into explaining something that is long since gone, but you can relate it to what somebody knows today. So connecting those pieces is what I love doing. And when I can see the light bulb go on for someone.
I love that. I'm really glad that you're doing that because more people need to learn their stories. I know around 2020, especially during COVID, a lot of people were trying to trace their histories
Yeah.
and things like 23andMe and so forth. And I'm hearing that these companies that were helping people to trace their family lineage are going out of business. People are, I guess the excitement is worn off and people aren't doing it as much.
Well, actually, I hadn't heard that they were going out of business. I know that one of them changed hands or something like that happened. It still exists, and I've, as a user of that one company that I'm thinking about, I see no difference in the performance of it. The information is still there.
Yeah, I know there was a company that was doing that, and they had gone out of business because people weren't hitting them up as much.
Okay, so I obviously was not using the one that went out of business, so I'm not quite sure which one you're talking about. But I see an uptick as opposed, well, maybe it's in the African American community, because people that I know are really getting into it, because they are finding out that they have a connection to maybe a local person that made a difference in the community, or they found out that their mother or father wasn't who they thought they were, whatever. So then, people showing up in their relatives that they didn't know, or that you're related to somebody that, oh my God, this is a person that's in the news and I'm related to that person. So, and one particular person in my community, she came in and she was related to someone that basically made a big difference during some riots in the 60s, and that was her uncle. So all of a sudden she wanted to know the backstory, and she started researching and digging. And once she started that process, now she's like on steroids. Really has gone from knowing nothing to being an absolute expert in that space, and she's just wonderful to listen to. And I love the fact that she came in to my store. Miss Ursula, do you have something over here? Do you have something over there? I said, yep, here. And then she turned it into something rather fascinating to see. So
is that what you do with your publishing company?
Is that what I do?
Yes. Yeah, is that the type of work that you publish with your publishing?
I do. I tend to focus on stories that need to be documented, or that they are at risk of not being told or being lost. Now, lately, I've gotten some romance in the mix, and but nevertheless, that's what I focus on. And when I give presentations, it's mainly on nonfiction and the connection to history, local history, national history. And I portray a historical character, Mary McLeod Bethune. And so that's what I mean by so many different things look like I do here, this and this, but they all are about the story. It's just different forms of telling that story. And I create legacy walls. And what they are is that I take a blank wall in a school or a building, or now I have a person that wants to do this in her home for her family. And we educate as we decorate, meaning that blank wall becomes something that is decoratively interesting, but it also tells the story of the building, the person, the family.
I love that. Yes. So that reminds me of a ministry at my church in New Orleans. There was a sewing ministry, and the older women were teaching the younger sew. And as they're learning to sew, they're telling them stories. And it wound up being a really nice bonding moment.
Yeah. So that brings back memories to my first marriage. I seem to want to put everything my grandmother ever taught me into that wedding. I made my own dress. I made the bridesmaids' dresses. I even went out and found some things to help with the catering process, right? And because I was doing so much, I had to sew up the dress like a few days just before I got married. But it worked out well. But I was putting everything in that I had ever learned. And to this day, I smile because one of the things that I have in my store is a rack of patterns Now you wonder, why would I have patterns? Well, because I portray that historical character. I'm interested in uniforms, and I have a theater background, so I'm interested in costumes. So I only carry patterns of historical costumes.
Hmm.
And
Yeah, my
someone just ordered one today, in fact.
oh, awesome. Yeah, my daughter is a theater head. She actually graduated from college with a theater degree. So I know exactly where you're going.
Yeah,
So,
my senior thesis was Porgy and Bess, and I had,
oh, good
yeah,
one.
yeah,
Yes.
every Black person on campus was in that play.
So, what are your most recent books under your publishing company?
Most recent, okay, I think is Rogers Park. Well, I'm thinking of my own now. Rogers Park Golf Course. I did that as a collaborative with another person that actually managed the golf
Okay.
course, and it's historically significant because the land was owned by a Black man who donated it to the city. It became a park that a lot of people have their memories there. It is now one of the nicest golf courses in the area and known all over for it. Of course, it went through Jim Crow and now open to the public.
Mm.
And they've just done some renovations on it, so we now know that a park that's named after a Black man will survive. It's doing real well. And
Awesome.
just oddly enough, this week the founder's daughter just went into the Guinness World Book of Records for
Oh,
her and her husband as the oldest living husband and wife. They've been married for 83 years, and she's still alive.
wow.
Yeah, she's still alive. I interviewed her at one point in time about 3 years ago, and I said, "Well, tell me about the love of your life." And she started telling me about it. I said, "You're speaking in present tense." She said, "Yeah, he in there." So at that time, she was 104 and he was 105.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow. Now,
yeah,
see, those are some feet I want to sit in. I want to sit at. I want to sit
yeah.
at those feet and learn.
There you
They
go.
have some stories to tell.
Hmm. And I think that's the benefit of growing up with my grandmother as an elderly person, because
Yeah,
I appreciated the wisdom and the ability to connect life and make life mean something, and who cared about me. I mean, so all that love and affection and wisdom is something I cherish to this day. And my first book, as you have um, made me feel like it's totally appropriate, was At Sula's Feet, the life lessons learned at
Hmm.
my grandmother's feet. Yeah.
So your grandmother's name was Sula?
Ursula.
Okay,
And
so your name after your
yes, and
grandmother.
that's why my company is called Sula too. Her nickname was Sula for Ursula, and my name is Ursula as well.
Oh, that's beautiful.
But I don't feel worthy of being called Sula though.
Mhm.
Not yet. Mm-mm.
Yeah, those are some big shoes to fill, right?
Oh yes,
But that, you know what though, that's a blessing to be named after your grandmother.
it is. I even wrote a poem in the first book about that. That so just what you said, when you're named for someone in your family, that is a special honor, and it's somebody expressing love. Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, so is that one of the books that you're going to have on the Literacy Code tour?
Oh, okay. So I also have a book called Write a Book in a Weekend.
Oh, okay.
And yeah,
I'm in it.
oh, I lied. It's Create a Book in a Weekend.
Oh,
Because
okay. Create a book, write a book. We're gonna
right.
do that in the weekend.
Well, the point of that, and that's why I had to correct myself, is not that you're actually going to write the book, even though you could with today's technology in a weekend. But the idea is a lot of us have material from our past, our present, whatever, just sitting on a shelf that is worthy of being collected and curated and put into a book. If
Yeah.
you're a poet and you have been writing for years, what's the point if you're not going to share it? So here, let's just do it. You know, done is better than perfect. Get it done. So
Absolutely.
that's part of what I'll do. But just to give you a feel for the structure of the program, what I want to do is have young girls um, connect with the importance of holding on to history in its form.
Hmm.
You may have local newspapers, you have your own papers from your school, you have posts that you did, all of those kinds of things. Acknowledge what they mean to you, to your story, and find a way to hold on to that it becomes yours. That's one of the things that we will talk about. And then use that to organize your thoughts into what does this mean that may benefit someone else or benefit me later on in life when I come back and read it. And I'll tell you about that in a minute. And then once they've organized those thoughts, let's take those things and create a book with them. And when you created a book, then let's talk about it. Share that information. Learn from each other. And then you become a part of the community's history. Okay, it's her story or his story becomes our story, really.
Yes.
So the importance of your place in that, the importance of the young people's place in that. And one of the things that I did that a young okay, I gave out scrapbooks to people, and that seems like old technology, but one of the things I said
I love
was,
scrapbooks.
you know, all these things that you're doing, put it in there. So later on, when you have a low moment, you just pull that scrapbook out and just look at it and say, "Oh, I did that. Oh, I'm not." And so, to that point, I thought the little girls would be more interested, but then I realized that the story that I had really resonated with young boys. I told them that I looked on Facebook and I saw the name of somebody I hadn't thought about in years. And I said, "Oh, I think I know who that is." And I pulled out my scrapbook, and there he was. I had several newspaper articles about him because he was the hot shot on campus. He
Okay.
was he was the MVP in basketball, had scholarships, all kinds of stuff that he did. And so I scanned that and sent it to him. He called me and was all over the place because he had proof for his grandkids that he was all that. And so we
I
had a
love
good time with that. And then something else that I did when I was in college, back then we wrote letters.
it.
And
Hmm.
so one person who ended up being an attorney and a pastor. So she talked and wrote a lot. And over the summer, we would communicate like that. And I kept all those letters. So one day I scanned them all in, put them in numerical order or date order, and sent them all off to her. She called me just as excited as she could be, because she said, "I didn't know I was so smart." It's amazing when you look back at your younger self,
Yes.
you will be proud of yourself beyond measure because we don't give ourselves full credit
I was just going to
for
say that it kind of overshadows our memories because sometimes we may remember things a different way than how it really was, and when you look back, like, wow, I did more than I thought I did.
that's it. It's in the moment. And we remember things in snapshots, just like you said. And unless you're writing it down or capturing it electronically and then preserve it, because electronics can go down. Okay, being a computer person, of course, you should have multiple backups, both written and electronic, on site, off site, all of that. But the point
Yes.
is, however you collect it, you should hold on to it because later on, it will be something that will be of value to you and others.
Yeah. So I can really see workshops
Hmm.
teaching people how to do this.
Hmm.
Um, how have those going? Do you travel doing that, or do you do that right in your own area?
Mainly in my own area. A lot of the traveling that I do has to do with performing Mary McLeod Bethune, but I am making that transition into my wisdom years. So I get to talk about those kinds of things, right? I'm acknowledging that I know a little bit of something. And it's time to share that information. And so the workshops are beginning to be more prominent. I love when family reunions come in town because I will go to them or they can come to me. When they come to me, I generally have given them a show and tell because I have a lot of artifacts that I can actually just show them. I mean, an artifact is within reach more often than not. And so, do I really want to do this? Okay, I'm going to do this.
Okay.
This, believe it or not, is from a beach that I just went to.
Oh
And
yeah.
and one I got the idea because I went to Bethune Beach in Daytona, and it's named after a
Okay.
black woman, Mary
Yeah.
McLeod Bethune. So I got some of the sand and a couple of shells and whatever, and put it in a plastic container, and I've kept it. So I have a little piece of that with me. But all the artifacts are a means of helping you tell a story. Because when somebody can see what you're talking about, it becomes a little bit more real.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So those are the kinds of things that I do.
So, and are you able, when you find yourself teaching, and because I'm thinking about those moments when people are saying they look back and they
Mhm.
they realize something that they may not have even thought about in years. Um, what is it like to see that light bulb turn on?
Oh, it's wonderful. And in fact, the very first book I wrote for someone else, I went in to write a newspaper article for about her. She was the first black woman to chair the school board in Hillsborough County. And I looked at her wall and she had pictures, I mean, all over, and including someone that was a former enslaved person. And I said, you need to write a book about this. And she said,
Yeah.
honey, I don't know. She said, I don't know how to do that. You have to help me. And I said, okay. Had no idea. I'd never done that before, but we got it done, and it was well done. In fact, I'm becoming the go-to person for a number of people now when they're thinking about putting their memoirs together. They think of me. I have not really had to advertise too much. I got a call today from someone that wants to
Nice.
do that. Yeah. And um and then a young lady came in just recently that she was going through a difficult time, and she wrote poetry, and I encouraged her to put it together, and to see her evolve was amazing. um, it helped with her healing process, and it also gave her direction of a whole new, well, she now is creating an industry for herself.
Okay.
She's found
Wow.
some she's found a whole new niche. And you know how you can tell when somebody is capable of doing something? Normally I don't well, I computer background, so yes, I can create websites. And I usually create something for my office that they can sell from. Not saying it's all blinged out, but I do. But in her case, I said, "Okay, here's what you need to do." And I walked her through creating her own website, and it was just nice to see that I could say, okay, this is what it looked like, this is what you do. And next thing she said, Miss Ursula, I stayed up until 2 o'clock in the morning, and she got it done. She got it done because I knew she could. And
Well,
I also knew I didn't want her calling me at 2 o'clock in the morning because I knew she would have done that too. Because she was that excited, and that was exciting for me.
so now, there may be somebody who's watching who might say, "Man, this sounds like something I totally want to do." Or, "Hey, I see that she's a publisher. I have a book that I need published." Um, what is your message to them? Can they reach out to you to
Yes.
get published? And what types of books are you accepting right now?
Well, I'm not really not accepting things, even though I have denied a couple of things, but it was basically because I couldn't wrap my company around what they happened to be writing about. It was just too much. So more often than not, I don't have to agree with you, because I think your stories need to be told, or have the right to be told. But so okay, that was too many buts. Anyway, cut that out. So, as opposed to the two that I denied, usually if you just get in touch with me at sula2.com or sula2llc@gmail.com, or call me at 813-200-8878, then I'll see what you have. If it's a good fit, then we start where you are. Either I write it or you write it. And depending on that is how we put the contract together. So I start wherever you are. And like the when I talked about the romance book, I went,
What wasn't on your bingo card?
but it ended up being very well written, and it had a purpose. So I said, okay, we'll get over that part. Yeah. And the book just came out, and she's doing quite well, in fact.
Well, that's good. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, I want to thank you for being on the show and for spending some time with me. If you can, I know you gave your website Sula 2 as well as Ursula's History Shop.
Yeah.
But what are some other ways for people to reach out to you?
Well, I'm on social media. I have a YouTube channel as well, that it's Sula 2. And okay, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Google my name. I'm out there. Ursula Odom.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Ursula. It was great meeting you, and I look forward to meeting you in person one day.
Thank you. Same here. I do.
Oh, thank you. Well, you enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you.
You
Bye-bye.
too. Bye-bye.
All right, y'all. That was author Ursula Odom. She's also a publisher, and she helps people to trace their lineage. So that was super, super interesting. And I know I had the pleasure of doing that when I was in college, just kind of tracing my history, and it really made me just look at who I am and where I come from just totally differently. So if you ever have the opportunity, I really suggest that you guys do it. But unfortunately, our second guest was unable to make it tonight. So I just have a few announcements, and then we're going to end the show just a few minutes early. But the first announcement I want to let you know is the second annual For the Culture Book Awards. The nominees for this year are going to be announced on the 15th of this month, which is just in 5 days. And you will be able to start voting for your favorite authors. And then the top few authors will go into the judging aspect, where the judges will actually read their books, and that's the way we'll choose a winner. So I'm super excited for you to see it. I was looking over the contestants today, and I'm like, oh, this is a pretty nice set of books that we're going to be reading this time. So I'm really, not that last year wasn't good, because last year was amazing. And I always get excited when I find out that the second year is going to be just as amazing as the first year. So please, please, please make sure that you are watching all of the Meet the World Image Solutions platforms, and we will be announcing the contestants for the second annual For the Culture Book Awards. And what are the For the Culture Book Awards? For those who don't know, These awards are specifically for fiction authors who actually uphold the culture in their books. I'm not saying it has to be preachy and it has to be Black power, but it just puts our culture in a positive and beautiful light while still telling amazing stories. So what just from what I've seen so far, these books are doing just that. So you'll be finding out who those contestants are, like I said, in 5 days. Also, get ready, get ready, get ready, because December 1st, the tickets start for the Black History Month Literary Weekend. This is our 10th annual. This is going to be our huge milestone celebration. And I want you guys to be there. It's going to be in New Orleans, February 19th through the 21st. On the 19th will be a meet and greet where you'll get to know the authors, get to know some of the sponsors for the event, get to know some of our special guests. And then on the 20th, we will have a book set. Well, I have to back up. We have a lot going on the 20th. So first, we're going to have a free writers workshop featuring author Brian W. Smith, as well as myself. We'll both be teaching classes, and then we're going to do breakout sessions. There is a VIP option for the writers workshop that includes a one-on-one strategy call. So this is something that you really want to take advantage of. And now, also on the 20th, we're going over to Barnes and Noble, and we're going to be doing a book signing at the Barnes and Noble in Harvey, Louisiana, which is right across the river from the greater New Orleans area. And then that night, we'll be having a comedy night featuring none other than comedian Steve Brown. Oh, he is super, super hilarious. If you have not heard Steve, you are going to be in for a treat. And I told him that he could let loose and do the comedy that he wants to do, because the last time he did a show for me, he had to do a clean show, and that was a struggle for him. And he said, pray for him. So this time I told him he can go ahead and do the comedy the way he wants. So he's looking forward to seeing you guys out at the comedy night, February 20th at Cafe Istanbul. Beautiful, beautiful area, very, very local area. This is not, it's not in the tourist area, but it's a beautiful, beautiful, how can I put it? It's like a theater almost, with a stage. They do stage plays there, live music, poetry sets, all kinds of things there. So you definitely don't want to miss that. And then on February 21st is our world famous Ivory and Cream Affair literary jazz brunch. We're talking live music. We're talking great food. You get to meet the authors. We're going to have a couple of guest speakers, but it's not going to be stuffy, so you don't have to worry about that. So make sure that you are checking the website. Go to www.mtwimagesolutions.com/BHM-2026. So you definitely want to be there for you definitely want to check that out. So there it is right there on the screen. Just click the link for more information. Tickets go on sale December 1st. Early bird tickets December 1st. However, you will be able to see it on Eventbrite starting tomorrow. So you can check out more information on all of those events. But if you're in New Orleans or you feel like traveling to New Orleans, you do not want to miss this weekend. It's going to be okay. Now, tomorrow is Veterans Day. So I want to give a special shout out to my fellow brothers and sisters in arms. Many of you know that I spent 23 years in the United States Army. I retired as an Army Master Sergeant. And I really, really look back on my days in the Army with pride. I'm so glad that I made that decision and spent that part of my life building that career, because it really shaped me into who I am today. And I'm very proud of my daughter, who is following in my footsteps, who is also joining the Army. She's not doing the same job I did, but it's a good job anyway. So I'm really proud of her. So big shout out to her. If you are on the Meet the World Image Solutions email list, I will be sending out a special offer tomorrow just for Veterans Day. So check it out. If you are in the midst of writing a book, you definitely want this package that I'll be sending out tomorrow. So stay tuned because it's coming. It'll be in your inboxes in the morning. So that is all we have right now. There's so many more things happening with Meet the World Image Solutions. We have a new book. If you have not, how do y'all do that thing with your nails? Well, whatever it is, there you go. If you have not gotten your copy of Surprise Swipe Right, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and get your copy of Surprise Swipe Right. If you have gotten your copy, leave a sister a review. Let me know what you think. This book is everything. I'm so proud of this story. I really enjoyed writing it, and I hope that you all are enjoying reading it. But please make sure you get your copy of Surprise Swipe Right. And I will be posting a new promo Surprise Swipe Right this week. So stay on the lookout for that as well. So I'm overload you guys because I know what it's like when I do information overload. I start to shut down, so I don't want you guys to shut down. But stay tuned to the Meet the World Image Solutions Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and LinkedIn pages, and pretty soon Pinterest, because there's so much more happening that you can be a part of, and I really want you guys to be a part of that. So thank you all for rocking with me. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for helping Meet the World Image Solutions to grow. Thank you for helping the Horizons Author Lounge to grow. We are doing great things, and we're going to be doing even more great things because of you. So that's all I have for tonight, guys. Meet me tomorrow night on the National Black Book Festival Facebook page for another episode of Black Authors Matter TV. And then meet me back here tomorrow, or excuse me, next week, same time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And we will be meeting 2 more authors who will be a part of the Literacy Code book tour. So once again, thank you. God bless you. And have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye.